Good afternoon. We'll just give folks a few moments to clear the waiting room. Okay. Good afternoon. This is an administrative hearing before the Mayor's Office of Consumer Affairs and Licensing. Today is Monday, June 27th, 2022. This hearing is being conducted pursuant to certain temporary amendments to the open meeting law. That is what allows us to meet virtually. This hearing is being recorded and will be posted to the City of Boston's website. We are joined today by the Executive Director of the Mayor's Office of Consumer Affairs and Licensing, Kathleen Joyce, and Director of Operations, Rebecca Fu. I will read the items on today's agenda into the record. I will then ask who is present on behalf of the applicant. You will then make a brief presentation regarding your proposal, followed by questions by the division and testimony, beginning with elected officials or their representatives. Please limit your testimony to 2 minutes, and please state your name, address, and affiliation, if any. Beginning with the first item on this afternoon's agenda, 11 Fan Pier Restaurant LLC, doing business as Serafina, located at 11 Fan Pier Boulevard. The application is to maintain and operate the live entertainment categories consisting of disc jockey, dancing by patrons, and instrumental vocal music up to 5 performers each until 2 a.m. on the existing non-live entertainment license. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Thank you, Secretary Green. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board, Attorney Ryan Gosda from McDermott, Quilty & Miller on behalf of the licensee 11 Fan Pier Restaurant LLC. I believe I see Jonathan Brackman, who is the manager of record on the call with us as well. This is for the restaurant Serafina at 11 Fan Pier Boulevard. If you're not familiar, this is actually their second currently operating location in the city with their sister restaurant on Newbury Street. And they would have 3 locations with another on High Street, but for the fact that it closed down during the pandemic, unfortunately. So it's not a new concept to the city, but a new location for Serafina in the Seaport area. As was referenced, this is an application to add a couple of additional forms of live entertainment to their existing non-live license. I will state for purposes of the record, the dancing by patrons was checked off in error, so that is not something that they're seeking for this location. So this is simply just the instrumentalist and the DJ. And with respect to the DJ that they're seeking, it's largely to add ambiance and mood setting within this space. It's very much a restaurant forward establishment. It's a full service upscale Italian restaurant, family friendly. They're certainly not looking for any club atmosphere or anything like that. And that is going hand in hand with the fact that they do not have any dancing in the space. So with that having been said, we're certainly happy to answer any questions you might have. We did attend a well-attended abutters meeting coordinated by ONS about a week and a half ago, and we've received no opposition.
Thank you. Attorney Gosda, I know you're saying you don't want a club atmosphere, but can you give us a little bit more detail about the DJ? Are you going to be using promoters at all? We hear this across the city. People want to have an upscale restaurant, and then when times are tough, they have the ability to have a DJ and they bring promoters in, and sometimes the business strategy changes. So
yeah, absolutely.
If you could describe for us now, I know you have another location in Back Bay, but describe for us what the strategy is at this location.
Yeah, absolutely. So they do not plan to have any promoted events. The only events of any sort that they might envision would be a small, if someone rents a room within the restaurant for like a small family gathering, but no promoted events or anything of that sort. The closing hour, I believe, is 2 a.m., which is what basically came with the liquor license, but they really envision the space closing down by about 11, 12 o'clock at night, most nights of the week. Jonathan can jump in and correct me if I'm mistaken, but I believe that's really what they're going for. And the DJ, I don't believe it will be every night of the week, largely on the weekends, or if they have brunch or anything like that, where they're really just looking to liven up the space with something other than just the radio playing. It'll be someone mixing things in person, although live, really just another form of background entertainment that's with a different layer to it, if you will.
Just quickly on the application, an old application was filled out, so I wasn't sure if you have an outside area. If there is an outside area, are you expecting music outside?
They do currently have an outside patio for the temporary dining program.
Oh, okay.
They do envision applying next year for that to be permanently in place, but there will be no entertainment outside. in either event.
And then, is this area surrounded with abutters, commercial? Sorry, I'm just not familiar.
I believe it's largely commercial. It's down in a lot of the new buildings by like the Vertex building and the Seaport. I believe there are some residential abutters, but not many that I'm aware of.
So do you plan on moving tables and chairs after a certain hour to allow more people in?
Jonathan, I don't know if your hearing can speak to that, but I don't believe that there's a plan to alter the footprint of the space.
No, no tables will be moving. There is the residential abutters, by the way. We have 22 Liberty and 50 Liberty across the street. Those would be the residential in the area. Other than that, it's commercial Vertex space. And no furniture will be moved. Everything's remaining in place. So we're not, again, trying to create a club atmosphere or ambiance and background. So all of the dining space remains as is on the floor.
Okay, and what's directly above your location? Is it residence?
No, above us is all Vertex, all office space.
Oh, all
So
Vertex.
the residents are basically across the street. So we're on the corner of Fan Pier and Liberty, and basically across the street on Liberty, there's number 22 and 50. So those would be their residences.
Okay, and I know I think you did submit the lease, but I just want to ask for the record, has your landlord given you permission to have this type of entertainment?
Yes, the landlord has.
Okay. I'm going to ask Rebecca to speak up if she has any specific questions about this application.
So your inspection says your capacity is 219. I know you don't expect to have any club atmosphere, but if you were at full capacity, we would like a security dispersal emergency operations plan just in case to have on file. So if you can send that along, please.
Absolutely, we will do.
I believe that's everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Executive Director Joyce. Any further questions?
Not at this time.
Okay, are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives? Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? The division will take this under advisement.
Thank you.
Thank you. Calling the next item on this afternoon's agenda, Alston Silhouette Lounge LLC, doing business as the Silhouette Lounge, located at 200 Brighton Ave. The application is to maintain and operate the live entertainment categories consisting of disc jockey, floor show, i.e. comedians, trivia, and instrumental/vocal music, up to 5 performers each until 1 a.m. on the existing non-live entertainment license. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Thank you again, Secretary Green. Brian Gazda on behalf of the licensee. With me is Jacob Simmons, who is the Vice President of Project Development for this restaurant group. This is the Silhouette Lounge at 200 Brighton Avenue. This group of restaurateurs recently closed on the purchase back in January of 2022. So they currently started operating, I believe, about maybe 2 months ago. And they do have a current non-live license, but they're seeking to add live entertainment, inclusive of, as was referenced, instrumentalists, vocalists, DJ, and trivia, as well as potential for floor shows for comedians to come in. Primarily, our client is hoping to do this to bring live entertainment back into the Alston Brighton neighborhood. It's something that they feel is missing in the neighborhood, and they've spoke with various members of the community, including the Alston Civic Association. They've gathered over 250 letters in support, feeling that this is something that fills a need in the community. And they're planning to specifically hire and bring in local musicians and artists to come in to put on shows in the space. Similar to the last application, there's no dancing in this space, but it will be more of a venue than the last application, if you will. The goal here is to bring in local artists to put on shows in what is a real neighborhood establishment and to cater to what the neighborhood is telling them that they want. I don't know if Jacob has anything to add. He is, as I said, on the call. We did attend a well-attended meeting with the Alston Civic Association, and they were thrilled with this application. And as I said, we do have over 250 letters of support.
Thank you. Executive Director Joyce or Director Fu, do you have any questions?
I just have one question. Do you charge a cover charge?
Jacob, I don't know if you can
How's
add
it
on
work?
that.
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can hear you, yes.
Great. So there would be a cover charge for the live portion of the space. There's not a cover charge to enter the Silhouette Lounge. However, the shows would have a cover. We would have door personnel in the live entertainment space in order to ensure that everyone going in there is paid the cover, and also to ensure that the capacity is not exceeded given that given the space.
And what is the capacity in the live portion? Is it broken down by room or is it just one capacity number?
So it's broken down by room. The portion of the space that we're proposing to have live entertainment in, I believe it's a 49-person capacity. That's not the entire lounge, of course, but that's what we plan on working with, and we'll have door personnel to maintain that we stay at or below that number.
Okay. So how does it work as far as dispersal if you're having an event, like a live event, and you have other rooms, like do you have a dispersal? We would need to review your dispersal plan. Do you how many like staff are working in that live entertainment portion?
Sorry, you said dispersal?
I'm guessing for the live entertainment, there's a beginning and an end. So at the end of the night, when the live entertainment is over, what is the dispersal plan? Or could you submit that to us in writing?
Yes.
Yeah, we absolutely will provide you with a dispersal plan. And I would add that this restaurant group, they're very responsible operators. They do have, I believe, up to now 7 other establishments in the city and outside of the city. So they're very hands-on and familiar with what's required, and we will submit a security and dispersal plan.
And is it over 21 for the live music? Live portion? Is the whole place over 21?
Yes.
Okay.
And IDs would be checked at the main entry the same as they are on any other night.
Okay. And I'm just double checking that your landlord has given you permission to have this type of entertainment.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to turn it over to Director Fu.
Is this area residential or commercial or both?
I
So
believe it is
this-
a mix of
Sorry, go
both.
ahead.
Jacob, go ahead.
Yeah, so this is on Brighton Ave, which is one of the 2 main commercial stretches in Alston. So we're in a retail block along with primarily other restaurants, bars, some shops, and a number of which stay open later than us. So, and there's one other music venue on the block, a few blocks up. So this is very much in keeping with what the area already has.
And was any soundproofing installed? Jacob?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Yep, sorry. Do you have anything to help mitigate noise emanation, soundproofing, anything like that installed?
So we are, because it's a standalone building, where thankfully there's not going to be noise passing to attached tenants. However, we'll be keeping the back doors closed. Sometimes they're open, but we'll be keeping those closed. If we notice that there's noise, we would have a plan in place to add sound deadening, and then we'll plan to have some sound deadening behind the stage as well, just to prevent travel. But the ceiling as it is has acoustic tiles on it.
Okay, thank you. That concludes my questions.
Great. Any further questions from the Executive Director?
No.
Okay, then. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives? Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Okay, seeing.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. My apologies. Frank Mendoza, Office of Neighborhood Services, Alston Brighton Liaison. Thank you for having me. At this time, our office will defer to the judgment of the board. The applicant has completed the community process. As the applicant mentioned, they met with the Alston Civic Association and got their support.
Great, thank you very much. And I'll ask again, are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Seeing none, the division will take this under advisement as well.
Thank you.
And now calling the final item on this afternoon's agenda, 186 Harvard Ave Bar LLC, doing business as Han, located at 186 Harvard Ave in Alston. The application is to maintain and operate the entertainment categories consisting of audio device, jukebox, projectors, board games, dancing by patrons, karaoke, up to 8 instrumentalists, up to 3 vocalists, disc jockey, and floor show, i.e. dancers, until 2 a.m. daily. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Thank you again, Secretary Green. Last but not least, Ryan Gosda on behalf of the applicant, 186 Harvard Ave Bar. With me is Henry Wong, who is the owner and manager of record of the establishment. This will be what will be replacing the former Wonder Bar that existed at the location for several years. The new DBA will be Han, but it will largely be in keeping with the same concept and style of what had been there previously, being a restaurant and bar. The forms of entertainment, as was referenced, that we're applying for are, again, what is in keeping with what historically existed at the Wonder Bar. So this will be general background music in terms of audio that's on their current non-live license, as well as board games, disc jockey, dancing, karaoke, instrumentalists and vocalists, as well as dancers. As I'd mentioned, it's largely to be in parity with what has historically existed there in the same general feel of what they're looking for in the space. And Henry Wong, he operates several other establishments in the city as well with live entertainment licenses, and they've had no issues with violations, and they're responsible operators. So they're happy to answer any questions. We, once again, on this one, did speak with the Alston Civic Association and received their full support as well.
Okay, do patrons, I'm just looking at the description, do patrons, are they allowed in the basement?
I believe the second auxiliary bar is in the basement. Yes, I'm just pulling up the
Okay.
thing as well. Yes, so the second bar is located in the basement.
Okay, we would also like you to submit a security plan, taking into consideration dispersal and other operations. We have that on file.
I don't believe you have it on file, but we are happy to provide it.
Yes. And it's a 2 a.m. closing?
Yes, I believe it is a 2 a.m.
Yes, it's a 2 a.m.
Yes, 2 a.m.
What age groups, is it over 21 or do you allow 18 and over? How does that work for your events?
It's after 8 o'clock is 21 plus. Before that, we are just a full restaurant.
Okay, so that's something that comes up before me at times, that somebody might have gone in there for dinner at 7:30 and decides to stay later, and they weren't carded because there wasn't enough staff to card them, and they were sitting down having dinner. Can you talk about what your business plan is to avoid a situation like that?
Sure. At 9 o'clock, we will have a complete flip over. Anybody who is under the age of 21 will be asked to leave the premise.
Okay, so will you go and recard people that are sitting at the table
Yes,
that
yes,
perhaps weren't carded when they came to have dinner?
right. We
Okay.
will have enough labor or security staff or servers to go in and just card everybody again.
Okay, and do you, is there a cover charge for your events, or do people buy tickets at the door
Yes, there will be a cover charge between $20 and $40.
depending on the event?
Right.
Okay, and just make sure that's posted?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And just double checking, does your landlord give you permission to have this type of entertainment at your
Yes.
licensed premise?
Yes.
And have you put anything in place to help mitigate noise?
Yes, we have a lot of sound barriers on 4 sides of the wall and also on the ceiling. We have, I would say, triple layers of sound installations on the side that's facing the street.
Okay. And when was that put in?
It was this year while we were doing the renovation.
Okay.
We basically gutted the entire space and we
You did.
did everything.
Okay. Rebecca, do you have any questions you'd like to ask?
No, I believe you covered everything.
Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Frank Mendoza here, once again, Office of Neighborhood Services, Alston Brighton liaison. At this time, our office will defer judgment to the board. At this time, our office will defer to the judgment of the board. The applicant has completed the community process, meeting with the Alston Civic Association.
Oops, sorry, you broke up a little bit at the end there, Frank. You said you met with the Austin Civic Association
And receive their support.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Seeing none, the division will take this under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you,
Those
everyone.
are
Thank you.
all
Thank
of the, thank you. Those are all of the items before the division today. The executive director will take these matters under advisement and will issue a written decision on all. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.